so long as like alchemy.
All right, here we go. Minnesota, Friday night. You got the big pussycat, Karl Anthony Towns. Derrick Rose, of course, coming off the 50-point performance against Utah. Not in the starting lineup. Tyus Jones out of Duke. A couple years in the league. I like him. Not as a starting guard, but he's a nice, serviceable third or fourth guard. And, of course, Jimmy Butler back in the starting lineup. And, you know, Minnesota, obviously a playoff team a year ago. Were they the 8th seed? Yeah, they were. They made the 8th seed. Now, there's no guarantee they make the playoffs. Tom Thibodeau is very much on the hot seat. But with the West, Denver, Portland, the Clippers, right? Minnesota could be on the outside looking in come the end of the season if Karl Anthony Towns doesn't sprout some hair on his boys. You feel me? Sound game plan. Right away, they want to attack Draymond's help defense. Taj Gibson has expanded his range to the corner three ball. And Draymond, we know, loves to help and is, you know, the anchor in the paint. And so right away, they wanted to establish like, yo, Taj will shoot and make the three ball. Draymond stay home. KD on the other end, you know, with Taj and Karl, they're two kind of traditional bigs, and KD got up and down the floor and off to a hot start. There's Taj again in the corner, the swing, and the closeout to Andrew Wiggins. Take a look at this one. You can tell his mind was made up, and we've seen this time and time again where teams come into the game with their thought process like, we're going to have to shoot the three ball at a heavy clip for any chance of beating the champs. Killer from about 30, but, you know, Minnesota shot it well, in particular Wiggins from behind the arc, and you're going to see Steph here off the inbound play, and look at the gravity between these two guys. It's crazy, and then the screen, there's really nothing you can do about it. Brilliant inbounds plays. Now, Steph, the numbers were there, but there was something off with his rhythm. We'll look at that throughout the night. One thing I think was noticeable was the swing. They were making the extra pass and getting the good open looks. It wasn't just one pass ISOs. And then take a look at Damian Jones, almost gets religious here early on. Pete Bell. Boom. It would have been a nasty spike, but Bell was better than the actual play. He almost lost his mind. Watch. And I love the Jordan Bell because you could argue Damian Jones is taking some of Bell's minutes, right? And I like that Bell celebrates everything that Jones does, the sign of a good teammate. KD started the game 5 of 5. Taj just can't hang with him. And look at the ball movement here. You see this in youth basketball when the coach wants them to swing, right? And just shift the defense until an opening happens. You rarely see this level of patience on the NBA level, but the ball swung sides 3 times and then they end up with the two-hand finish at the rim. Here's Taj's second corner three ball, but I thought Draymond kind of neutralized him. In the past, we had brought up how Taj kind of eats Draymond's lunch in the paint, but they were taking him out of the paint with that shot. There's KD's 5th, I believe. And so he was just buttery. The rhythm was there. It may not have been there for Steph, but it was for KD. Here he is coast to coast. And again, their bigs can't run the floor. Towns, as skilled as he is, look at him lumber up and down the floor. He's not nearly as swift as some of these other young bigs. Derrick Rose gets in the game, pull-up jumper, but he would leave with ankle soreness. I could not identify when that happened. And that's troublesome just because you would like to have seen him tweak it rather than him just have a sore ankle. And there's Alfonso McKinney eating off Steph's gravity. Here's a rookie from this draft class that seems like it's going to be pretty good. Josh Okogie, the 20th pick out of Georgia Tech. And I had mentioned in one of my NBA alchemies, I think he can step in for Jimmy Butler when that move happens. Now, is he Jimmy Butler? Absolutely not. Not at this point at 20 years old. But he's a serviceable two-guard who's ready to play now. Steph, like I said, there's just something off. And you can usually spot it within his ball handling. Now, if I'm a vet or an assistant coach, I tell my young guys, don't talk to Draymond. Don't talk to him. It's just a mistake. It's one thing if you're an established guy, if Jimmy Butler or one of these guys wants to talk to him, but if you're just some role player, don't put gas on the fire. I just think that that's a mistake. And then look at Draymond sell out on that corner three. And it got me to thinking a little bit about, you know, all this defensive player of the year talk. Let's not lose sight of the big picture, Draymond. Like, that's all well and good, but I don't need him selling out into the crowd and just overdoing it for his personal goals early on in the season. And I know that's a fine line. It's like all or nothing, but still. Iguodala had 8 assists, and there's the dime and 1. But I thought he hurt us at times in this game. Now, here's what I'm talking about with Draymond. Clay's not beat here. Draymond wants the steal, right? Digs in, and there's a foul called. And like I said, I'm just pointing out, Draymond had a great game, but I just want to make note that sometimes you can be selfish even as a defender by selling out, trying to get steals and blocks. And let's just monitor Draymond the rest of the way, knowing that he's staking claim to that Defensive Player of the Year this early on. You're seeing the end of an offensive series here with the second unit where Jerebko had to get up a shot, but it was Iguodala that really hurt us by not shooting the open shots as you take a look at a guy who for sure's car smells different than yours. But Iguodala, not only is he not really have any more gravity on the three-point line, but even when he gets into the paint, guys know he doesn't want to shoot it, so he's lost that gravity. There's Okogie hitting the three. How about 15 points in 25 minutes for the rookie? Now, Butler finished with 21 points, but they were a forced 21 points, and he was 0 of 8 from three-point range. He's just not a shooter. Shooters, you don't go 0 of 8 from three-point range. You may go 1 of 8. You're not going 0 of 8. Cat knocks down the three, and I just don't know how much you want him standing out on that three-point line. He already lacks aggression. Clay's going to knock one down here, and it was back and forth. The offense, both teams were shooting well in this first half, but no one was really stopping anybody, and that's what makes this team nearly impossible, right? Because you say, oh my God, Steph seems kind of like out of rhythm for once. Well, KD wasn't. What I liked from KD's game was a lot of these shots were just coming within the offense. Early on, we've seen him kind of generate his own shot. These were just coming within the flow of the offense. Now, this play here with Karl-Anthony Towns, Damian, you need to just run at him and close the distance. Damian's almost acting if he's worried Towns is going to blow by him. No, he's going to sit and shoot that slow three-pointer right in your face. It's just knowing the personnel. Steph, pull up three. Good job from McKinney holding off and letting the splash god get the bounce. But we've seen this. Look at his body language. And he was due, right? Steph was due. He hasn't had one bad game this year yet, and we're here at game 10. And you can see with the handle, right? The turnover, that's what I point out. That's where you notice it. His handle isn't as crisp when he's out of rhythm, and his handle, I guess, kind of is where he finds his rhythm. And then figure it out, referee. This is so dumb. This is where you have to use your brain. Why would KD avoid the ball if it didn't go off the dude's leg? Watch Durant. He rips it. Now watch him avoid it. That means it went off the Timberwolves. Sometimes you got to use common sense, and these refs, I don't know. So despite Minnesota, hanging around and shooting rather well, you got the sense that the Warriors were kind of toying with him. And then the third quarter starts, and Andrew Wiggins gets hot. And then you see this double pick and roll action in Damian Jones. He just doesn't have the greatest instincts, right? And it's a pick your poison here, but, I think the good defender goes with the roller at the rim. I know 3 is more than 2, and it's the new NBA, but you can't just give up a dunk right at the front of the rim. More Wiggins, this time left wide open. And if you're a Timberwolves fan, it's got to be hard to root for this kid, man, because you look at his shot fundamentally and his physical attributes, and you're like, why isn't this dude an all-star? And again, it goes back to the whole Jimmy Butler saga, right? Both Wiggins and Towns' competitive level, I think, is well below the NBA line, the baseline. Here's the one dribble pull up, and you're like, okay, man, why aren't we seeing this on a nightly basis? It's not physical. Here's more Steph, and let's give Tyus Jones a little credit. He came in and played heavy minutes for Derrick Rose and started actually the game, but played more than anticipated. And I thought his quickness maybe bothered Steph a little bit. Clay, that's a tough pull-up, and Kerr said as much. Third quarter, I thought they were kind of forcing things a bit offensively, not getting good looks. Look at the wall. Draymond just wouldn't let Butler out-physical him, driving to the paint. Bell in the game only played 6 minutes, not even a hand up on the hot man. That's probably why. I get on the refs, so let's give them credit. Good no call there on the flop, but Steph hits the back of the rim. And the other story was the turnover count. There was 16 turnovers to the Timberwolves 5. Definitely helped them stay alive at Oracle Arena. Wiggins thought we might see a poster the way he loaded up there, but that was a nice finesse finish with the left hand. More rhythmic dribbling problems here, and then Draymond damn near breaks the backboard trying to throw this lob. But overall, Draymond, I think, had a great floor game, high assist numbers all the way around. Butler gets ripped from Steph, he's used his hands just at an all-time rate this year, I think, defensively. I don't know how many strips he has on guys in the paint, but they're up there. Wiggins to the cup, and look at Bell come flying out of nowhere, but the Timberwolves get the bounce of the ball, and I don't know why. I don't like Anthony Tolliver. I just don't like the way that fool looks. So I enjoyed a few possessions later. Look at him trying to get over physical and crowd Steph, and he tells him, sit your ass down, finishes with the left hand. I was complimenting the refs, now I'm going to stab him again. And Jones, look at this. This is a flop. And the reason that pissed me off, because that's such a highlight play from KD, coast to coast with 2 hands. That was going to be like the highlight of the night in the NBA. Watch Jones flop. And frankly, at Jones's size, I don't blame him for flopping. That's part of his game in order to stay on the floor. And then another suspect call as Tolliver kicks the leg out. And KD, I think, has the right to be frustrated because they've blown several calls on him. And at this point in the game, I was getting nervous with the score. I'm like, are we not going to get a home whistle at all? Are they trying to do us wrong at Oracle? Steph bangs the 3, but was just 4 of 12 from downtown. No, I'm going to hold it here because that's the next step for McKinney. He's just taking a bad angle there on the rookie Okogie. You see, he has to meet him probably right there where the elbow is. And instead, he takes a bad angle and he gets beat by the rookie to the rim. But not too much to complain about with this kid McKinney, man. I thought this was a cool little sequence from Iguodala. Now watch Steph here. Obviously, I'm highlighting his struggles from behind the arc. He misses 2 in a row, and he's hanging his head. They know he's having a rough one here. So watch the final possession a few seconds later. Iguodala, we know how unaggressive he is offensively. He understands Steph's not going to take this shot, so he goes and gets himself to the line. Such a rarity, but just showing Iguodala's understanding of his teammates in situational awareness. Wiggins gets roofed by Looney, and Steph's going to go coast to coast here to end the third quarter. Good for, again, his numbers were there, man. His numbers were there. They're always going to be there, but it just didn't happen with the efficiency that we've seen him start this season. I didn't like this, the outlet, and then they allow the layup on the other end to close the third as Minnesota leads headed into the fourth quarter. And I thought these were the most impactful minutes of the night. Klay to start the fourth quarter just took over. They had the rookie on him, and all of a sudden he found himself back in the classroom. And Pete, Minnesota, they've been instructed to flop as well. And he just hit like 3 or 4 jumpers to start the fourth that really just established momentum and bought Steph and KD time on the bench. I think it was these first few minutes here that really won the game in the fourth quarter, and KD knew it. Now, the defense turned up as well. Draymond, look at Jerebko switch here and move his feet. He's not going to be able to do that against most guards, but the effort and understanding is there, and then the length and IQ to recover. The second unit, along with Klay, really held it down here to start the fourth, and this is what I was killing Iguodala about. This just, it pisses me off. What are you doing there? What is that? Just go up and draw the contact. It hurts me to see that. And you remember my level up Iguodala, I had brought up all these different ways he could finish, Euro flip shots and different things. Look who's bringing the ball up in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that's Zoe. Backdoor, that's an OTO, out of timeout play, executed perfectly. More Klay, this time big boying Jones, and I like how easy he made it on himself, right? He didn't complicate things. He just straight up went over him. 9 of 17 for 22 points from Klay, and now utilizing his gravity, Iguodala, there you go. Get up and finish it. But how about Alfonso McKinnie? 8 points and 8 rebounds, 27 minutes. Iguodala, like I said, had the 8 assists and ignited several breakaways. You see McKinnie finish that nicely, but he's in there to close the game. Is he going to start to take more and more minutes from Iguodala as he continues to struggle? I think the answer is yes, especially if he's going to continue to knock down the threes. And I love the fist pump because he knows that was like that was probably his first like big basket that like meant something in a close game in the fourth quarter. And it's just crazy, man. The rich get richer. This is just an unaccounted for wing player on this Warriors roster that now is playing 3 and D and closing games for us. Late in the game, Draymond just dominated defensively. Look at him bully Karl-Anthony Towns. And it's hard to give the ball to your big this late and say go to work when they haven't done it for him all game long. And this was just soft play here. He's got to have 30, 40 pounds on Draymond. He stands him up in the paint. As the game got away from the T-Wolves, you got the sense, like I had mentioned earlier on, that the Warriors, even though the T-Wolves had the lead going into the fourth, they don't respect the competitive juice of this Timberwolves team. And as you see the fourth quarter played out, I think that they were right for thinking that. And I think that's why Jimmy Butler is causing a ruckus. You see KD with the and one, and then Steph here, you saw him pad the stats a little bit here. I think he wants the scoring title. And there's nothing wrong with it, man. He deserves it. All that he's sacrificed for this to happen, he deserves the scoring title. That's fine. But you could see him hunting for it here late. KD knows what time it is, gets the ball right back to him. And like I said, he was kind of due. So I expect him to bounce back. They have the weekend off. I believe the Warriors have played more games than any team in the NBA to start the season, so there's a little bit of a gap here. They'll play Memphis Monday, and then a big one against Milwaukee Thursday. I'll do a pregame live. Let's take a look at the stats and the even balance. It was the big 3 offensively. You see him feeling bad, and that's how, when you're as good as Steph, you feel bad dropping 28, right? But it was the 4 of 12, I think, from outside. You see the balanced attack getting the job done at Oracle on a Friday. I'm out, y'all.
So long as like alchemy.